We now have joining us Peter Esele, a former president of Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association. He joins to help us unbundle this a little further. Thank you very much for giving us your time. 400,000 barrels. Are you shocked by this figure, or are you among those who say it might even be more?
Thank you for having me. And when I was listening, I virtually was laughing. Laughing in the sense that not just laughter for the sake of laughter, but because we are ridiculing ourselves as a nation. You can't, the National Security Advisor should be telling us what he is doing or what his office is doing to bring it to a stop. And it shouldn't be complaining just the way the ordinary Nigerians will complain. Now, let me break it down for those who are at home. If you lose 400,000 barrels a day, let's assume it's even $10. That's $4 million. $4 million going to individuals alone. And what that means is that is a threat to national security, because wherever people make money, they will do everything to protect it. That's one. Number two, how is it possible for somebody to steal even a barrel of crude without the connivance of the Nigerian security apparatus? We have the Navy, we have the Army, we have the Air Force. So somebody moves a vessel, the vessel I'm talking to you now is not Kekena Pet, get into your waters, siphon your crude, and none of the security operatives can pick any of that up. And yet we are coming to say we are a serious country. No, it doesn't reflect how serious we are. And that's another aspect of it.
What should the NSA be saying? You're saying he shouldn't be complaining like every other person, yes, in specifics.
Yes. Yes, what I expect him to tell us is to tell us the measures that he's putting in place. Is he using technology? With technology, we can know all of this. There are drones technology. There are drones that can pick this up. You can even use internet to make sure that you have a control room that is in charge of the pipeline from point A to point B. That is what is done in Saudi Arabia.
Mr. Esele, let's look at it from another perspective. A lot of money has been expended for security to secure the pipelines. We know at the moment that the private security firm that's been engaged by NMPCL is also in the know of what's going on and trying to secure. Why does this continue? You've also said that there are people, a stranger cannot walk in, a novice that doesn't know the industry cannot come in. So why does it persist despite the huge investment? Where should we begin to investigate?
The first thing you need to ask yourself, for this to happen, there are what I would call an internal a cabal that is from the security operatives to those who are responsible for pumping the crude. So there is a clique that is all around ensuring that this thing continues. So what I'm telling you now is for the NSA to start telling us that, oh, it's still continuing, then we need to ask a series of questions. So what do I expect the NSA to do? Is to tell us the measures that is putting in place. Let me ask you a question. Since we've been told that our crude oil is being stolen, who has been prosecuted? How many people have been arrested? I'm not talking about those boys that you see on TV. Those are not the guys behind me. How many people have been persecuted? How many people have been arrested? How many people have been made to face the law? None. All we hear is people complain. And the National Security Advisor just said something. He said few individuals. So which invariably means he already identified that there are, once you're able to say few individuals, so who are these few individuals? It's the responsibility of the state to go after these few individuals who are destroying our environment, making life difficult for Nigerians, and ensuring that the money meant for 100, 200 million Nigerians goes into a few people's pocket. So
is there a lack of... Mr. Esele, these people seem to be known. These people that are involved in oil theft and bunkering and all whatnots. Is it a lack of will? And do you see a different approach with this administration? There also seemed to be a lot of hope on the private security outfit that was engaged by the federal government. Are you hopeful that this administration will change the story around oil theft?
Yes, I am hopeful. I'll give this current administration a benefit of the doubt. They are about 100 days now. So we'll give the benefit of the doubt. But the fact is that this administration should go after those who are behind it. They have to bring those who are perpetuating this act of sabotage, they have to bring them to book. If they don't do that, it's going to continue. I'm surprised to hear the NSA says it's now 400,000 barrels. 3 months, 4 months ago, it dropped, and then our daily production was almost a million and some fraction. So if it's still 400,000 barrels, it means that the earlier progress that was made have also now
been
disappeared.
lost. All right, there's another aspect quickly that I'd like to take you on before I bring in my next guest. The NSA believes that the activities of these oil thieves and pipeline vandals had impacted negatively on the nation's economy, and most importantly, that it's partly responsible for the rising cost of living in the country. Is he correct, or do you think this may be another political talk to excuse the government from owning its economic blunders?
No, he's correct about that. So if you look at it, I just told you $10 over 400,000 barrels is $4 million. So if you make that at $70, you are looking at about $28 million daily. So if we remove that of the operators, you are looking at the country is losing millions of dollars every day. So as per what he's saying about our economy making life difficult, the NSA is very correct about that.
All right, let's hope for the best. Mr. Stella, thank you very much for speaking with us on Nigeria Tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Still talking oil theft in the country, we're now joined by a partner, KPMG in Nigeria, Uzochukwu Obienu. Thank you very much, Mr. Obienu, for joining us. Let's get your aspect. There are two sides to... It's a pleasure. There are two sides to this whole conversation. One is the political and environmental concerns, and then there's the economy. Nigeria has a capacity of producing 2 million barrels of crude per day, but it's doing about 1.6 million. Help us better understand what the country loses weekly from the theft so that we can appreciate the magnitude of the issue and how dangerous it is for the country's economic survival.
Okay, thank you. And that's a very interesting question. And I'd like to pick it up from where Mr. Esele stopped. I think the more obvious loss to the nation is the immediate revenue. I mean, if you at about $84, $85 per barrel, if you do the maths, we'll be somewhere close to maybe about 34 million US dollars every day. And then you multiply that by 365, and we're somewhere around 12 billion US dollars annually. Now, that's revenue. Then you think about it from the point of view of what having 12 million US dollars in your economy will portend for your foreign currency as a nation. Just a few weeks ago, we're talking about $3 million facility or swap deal, or the crude oil future sales that the NNPC got into, and we're talking about the kind of impact it will have on the economy. Now think about 12 billion US dollars in a year, and that's just on what we can see today. Then you can then unpack that and ask yourself the question: how has this affected economic decisions by IOCs, by international players, by even the local players who are looking to invest in the sector? If you want to invest in a nation where you are not very certain of what your recovery will be, despite all the...
Mr. Obienu, I think the network has interrupted. We'll really have loved to hear his thoughts. Let's see if we can reconnect before the news is over. But for now, let's bring you other stories.